Welcome to this energizing yoga practice. This is a great practice to do first thing in the morning or any time of day that you need a little boost of energy. For this practice, it's helpful if you have a couple of blocks and a strap and a blanket, but if you don't have any of those things, that's okay. I'll give you some alternatives. So we're going to begin lying on our blocks if you have them. So if you want to take both of your blocks, you'll take the first one and put it in front of you on your mat on its lowest height. Then take your second one and place it a few inches away, 4 inches or so away, on its middle height. Now, if you don't have blocks, take your blanket and roll it up and lay it lengthwise up and down your mat so you can lie on that instead. So we're going to turn and put our block, the first one, about the middle of your back and up into the space between your shoulder blades, and rest your head on the second one. Then you might have to move it around a bit just to get the right spot. Your legs can be in a constructive rest where the knees fall in together. You can stretch your legs straight out, or you can take them into a cross-legged position, whichever is the most comfortable for you right now. For a start, simply let the arms draped by your sides and relax your shoulders. And breathe all the way down into your belly and slowly out. And breathe into the belly, expand belly and chest, and ujjayi, exhale. And again, please, yogi. If you've been feeling a little sleepy or sluggish, you have a sense of drawing fresh energy in on your breath in and releasing that sleepiness on your exhale, letting it go. If it's okay on your shoulders, take your hands over your head and hold the opposite elbow. If that's a little bit too much, you could try holding your wrist or even your hands. But if you can, reach for the elbow and let the forearms work down towards the floor, just getting a little bit more open into the chest now. If this causes any pain, of course, come out of this expression in the arms back to where we were for a start. Lovely, bring your hands back up and over. And very carefully start to make your way up to a seat. So if you need to undo the legs to help you get up, that's okay. But you'll press your way up. Don't worry about your blocks for right now. Just make your way up to your upright position. And tilt your head over to the left, stretching the right side of your neck. The hands can rest on your thighs or on the floor. And try over to the other side, head over to the right. This time, lift your right hand up, tilt to the left and lean to the left, getting into a side stretch here. And same thing on the other side. Bring your right hand down, tilt your head to the right, left hand up and over the top. And then flow a little bit. We're going to take your left leg out of your cross-legged seat and off towards the back corner of your mat, out at an angle. We'll turn towards it and reach your right hand towards your left foot. So coming into Janu Shasana. And bring your right hand up and over to the space behind you. I'm going to rock up onto your right knee and inner left foot. Lift your hips up and stretch your left hand over the top. So you'll stretch all the way through the front left side of your body. Keep pushing your right hand into the mat and feel like you're externally rotating your upper arm. Your hand is where it is, but feel that rotation will help you get into your back. And safely do this in your shoulder. There should be no pain. Softly lower your hips back down. Bring your right hand across towards your left foot again. Left hand can reach back beside your left hip. You can hold your shin, you can hold your foot. And spin that right hand back up and over, back into this knee Kamatkarasana, knee wild thing. Left hand over the top, hips up, push into your right shin, grip your right fingertips. Lovely, yogi, and soften your hips back down. Bring your left foot in and stretch your right foot out. Take your left hand up, turn towards your right foot and bow down that way. Come in and get into Janu Shasana. You can have your hand on your knee, your thigh, your shin, your ankle, or your foot. We'll spin this left hand up and over to the mat behind you. Rock up onto your left knee and inner right foot. Push down through your left arm. Think external rotation. It's like you're going anti-clockwise, counterclockwise with your left arm, but your hand is glued to the mat. Lift your hips. Push through your left shin. Make sure there's no pain anywhere in the shoulder or back or anywhere else. Softly lower down. Spin around, take your left hand across to your right leg again, as low down as feels comfortable for you to reach. Right hand can go straight back. And spin that left hand up and around like a rainbow. Right hand goes up and over the top, pop up onto your left knee, and inner right foot or the whole of your right foot. Pause here for a moment, lift the hips, really stretch through the right waist. Fantastic, yogi, and soften down. Bring your right shin in front of your left. We're going to reach around with the left hand. And as you do, you'll spin up onto your toes. And as you come into your down dog, you can take a moment to move your blocks back off the side. And then once you get into downward facing dog, pedal the legs a little bit, warm them up a bit more. Just bending one knee and then the other, seeing how the legs feel, seeing how you feel in the hips. Remember to always push through your arms. And let's wander up to your hands. At the top of your mat, straight into a halfway lift, extend out long, and into forward fold. Grab your blocks. If the ground feels a long way away, they can help you to bring the ground up to you again. And step your feet together, please, yogi. We're going to stand our way up into chair, so your hips go low and your hands go high. Put the weight back in your heels. Exhale, fly your arms back. Inhale, stand up tall, reach up and back. Hands to your heart. We're going to add a little bit of balance into that. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, hands fly back up onto your tiptoes, drinking bird pose. Look at the floor just in front of you. Commit, lift the heels really high. Stand up tall on your heels, stretch your hands up overhead. If you wobble, it's okay. And as you exhale, bring your hands down to heart and heels to the floor. And again, sit into chair, inhale. Exhale, reach your hands back, pop up onto your tippy toes. Firm into your belly, stand up tall, reach up high. That's it. And hands to your heart, heels down. Let your breath go. Final time with this. Hands up, hips down. Utkatasana chair. Tiptoes. Arms like aeroplane wings. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Start to wake them up. Stand up tall on your toes if you can. And hands to heart, heels down. Fantastic. Circle up. Stretch your hands back. Exhale, fold forwards. Halfway lift, extend out long. And if you want to go straight to down dog, you can, or step back to plank. Take a breath in, push your arms, shift forwards. Knees can be up or down. Chaturanga, slow descent, keep the belly firm. Cobra pose, roll the chest up, pull the hands back, shoulders away from your ears. Exhale to downward facing dog. Remember to get the strong, stable position in the arms, to lift the tail high and then gently work into the legs. Don't worry if the heels are up or the knees need to be a little bent. We'll lower your knees down to the mat. And this is where your blanket can be useful. If your knees are uncomfortable, pop a blanket underneath them. Stretch your right foot up back behind you. Breathe in, lift your head and bring your foot towards your head. And as you exhale, bring your knee towards your nose. So a lot like a cat-cow, but adding in some extra movement from your legs. Inhale, lift your toes towards your head. Exhale, bring them close. One more time, please, yogi. Foot towards your head, strong straight arms. Exhale, knee to nose. Keep it there. You can hold this position, or if it feels okay to you, tuck your toes, left foot, lift your left knee up, and push your arms. Hold for 5, 4, 3, breathe 2, 1. Right knee down to the ground in tabletop. Lift your left foot up, bend your knee, head towards your foot. Knee towards your nose. Inhale, head and toes towards one another. And knee to nose. Last one for now. Head and foot together. And knee to nose. Keep your knee in at your nose. Tuck your right toes. If you wish, you can hold this position, or if it feels okay, lift that right knee up, push your arms. 5, 4. Keep the knee lifting up. 2, and 1. Lower it down. Take a regular cat-cow, both knees on the ground, tailbone up. Round it out. Tuck your toes and come into downward facing dog. We'll send the right foot up high, stretch it up towards the ceiling, sink into your left heel. Push your arms. Step your right foot to your right thumb. Come up to a high lunge, so you'll stay up off the back knee and rise up. Now, if you have a strap, reach for your strap. Because this is an energizing practice, just opening quite a bit into the front of your body. Take your strap a little bit wider than your shoulders. Lift your arms up, elevate your shoulders, and then start to reach up and back. So this will also make it a bit more of a challenge also. Now, if you don't have a strap, that's okay. You can take your arms up and back the same. There's just a little less resistance, a little less help from the strap. We'll hold here for another couple of breaths. Lovely, come on out. Carefully does it. Shorten up your stance. If you've got your strap, you can put it to the side of your mat. Shorten up and come into pyramid to stretch your front leg. So the left heel is down. Bow over your right leg. Those of you who feel a little bit of stiffness in the legs, maybe you grab your blocks to help you keep your spine neutral. So that's a little pull back of your right hip and forwards of your left, and bowing down. Keeping the spine, as I say, neutral, not rounded. And we're going to shift into the front knee. Slide your left shin behind your right heel and sit down to the ground. Take a hold of your right foot with your left hand. Start to kick that foot up towards the ceiling, heron pose. Chest is up. It's okay if the knee is bent, or you can straighten it. Reach your right hand back behind you. Now in this twist, it's tempting for that right foot to drift to the left. So keep pulling it in front of its own hip. Sit tall and look all the way back. Press the right toes up and away from you. Come back in, place your right foot back onto the ground. We're going to stand onto it and lift your left foot up to the ceiling for a standing split. So you can go with no hands, or especially your left hand could help you. Come up, left foot to the sky. Lengthen out your back, bow down over the right leg, hands on the floor or your blocks, and start to pulse a little bit into that left leg. So lift lower, lift lower, lift lower. 2 and 1. Good job, yogi. Your choice of pose here. You can cross your legs and fold forwards, give the outer leg a bit of a stretch. Or if you have baby grasshopper in your practice, coming from that standing split position, turn your right toes a little more to the right. Bend your knee a little. Bring your left knee in behind your right and your right hand to your left foot. There's a lot going on now, I know. Left hand comes off the side of your mat. Your elbow is going to chaturanga as you lean towards it. Slowly lower down. Your left foot goes off to the right. If you land on the ground, that's okay. Pause for a moment in baby grasshopper. And if you can, back up to standing split, squaring a foot back up, lifting it all the way to the ceiling, bowing down, strong straight legs. And we'll all meet top of the mat, forward fold. Big toes touch, bend your knees, take your hands up, chair pose. Fly your arms, rock up to your tiptoes. Stand on your tiptoes, Tadasana. Whoop. Heels down, hands down. Circle up, reach your hands back and fold forwards. Halfway lift, little firmness in the belly. Chaturanga, step back or jump back. 2 bent elbows, or you can skip it and meet us in downward facing dog. Don't be afraid to modify your practice to suit your energy levels. Back to your down dog if you're vinyasana. Deep breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Regular Ujjayi breath in and out. Left foot circles up to the sky. Pause at the top. Step it forwards to your left thumb. Come up to your high lunge with your strap if you've got it. Remember, it's okay if you don't have one. Taking the strap just a touch wider than your shoulders. Hands lift and back. Deepen into the left knee and stay on your right toes. Two more breaths, yogi. We'll shorten up, bring the hands down, pop your strap off to the side. Shorter stance, fold forwards, grab your blocks if you feel your back rounding. Pyramid pose. Extend on your inhales. Deepen, stretch on your exhales. Bend your front knee, slide your right shin to behind your left heel and sit down to the floor. Take your right hand to your left foot, left hand behind you, heron twist. And again, mindful of this positioning of your left foot that wants to drift to the right. Keep it straight ahead of your left hip. Sit up tall, push that foot away and up, rotate and look back. Come out, place this left foot back where it came from. With the help of a right hand if you need it, come on up to your standing split. And pulse that right leg. Little lifts and lowers to engage the glute and fire up the legs. And you can choose to come into a cross-legged fold and hold there. Or if you prefer, you can join me in baby grasshopper. Turn your left toes to point to the top left corner of your mat. Bend your left knee, tuck your right knee in behind it. Take your left hand to your right foot. Your right hand just to the edge of your mat or slightly off. That right elbow is going to chaturanga as your right leg extends and you slowly drop down to hover if you can. If you land on the mat, that's all right. If you've got it, hold for a moment and breathe, looking out towards the right foot and up towards your standing split once again. Right foot to the ceiling. Reach your toes and release. Feet together. Lift up halfway and fold. Step your way back to downward facing dog. And let's come into pigeon pose. Bring your right knee forwards to your right wrist, please. If pigeon doesn't feel good to your knees, take a lizard instead. So that is the right foot on the outside of the mat with the knee up is your alternative. And in both expressions, whether you're in pigeon or lizard, because we're looking for a more energizing practice, consider coming more upright with your torso. So that could be with the use of blocks, just using those to support you, to really lift up through the chest. Sometimes when we're feeling a little bit sleepy, a little bit blah, we kind of slouch and round our backs and it makes our breath shorter. So we're looking now to expand into the front of your body, to breathe deeply, to feel energized. Good. Come out and back to your downward facing dog. If you prefer to transition through tabletop, that's okay. And left knee forwards to left wrist. Pigeon. And as I mentioned, if this just doesn't feel good for your knee, lizard is your alternative. And I encourage you, in whichever pose you chose, to grab your blocks, whether in pigeon or lizard, and to focus on expanding out and up, as if you could lift your ribs up out of your waist and open them up. Even if your hips are a little bit higher than they might usually be in a pigeon pose, where quite often we're descending. You might feel this feeling of elevating, of lightness, of moving upwards. Nice, yogis, come on out, move your blocks. Step your way back to your tabletop or down dog. We're going to come down towards the mat, spin down, coming to a seat. You can face either way. And we're going to grab your blanket, have that rolled up if you have one. You could also come back onto your blocks, how you were for a start. And while this is an energizing practice, I understand you might not wish to take Shavasana and downregulate too much, but we'll spend just a few moments lying back in this open position, aware of your breath, letting it regulate once again before we move on with the day. So if you'd like to lie back either onto your blanket or onto your blocks like we did at the very beginning, or if you prefer some time in Shavasana now, traditional Shavasana, that's also good. Just a few breaths here. Time for it to deepen, to be full. Controlled exhales. Again, you can have a sense of pulling in energy for your day and letting go of any fatigue from whatever has passed today or last night or even from your practice. Energizing inhales and full exhales. If you want to take some more time here, you can. If you're ready to move on into the rest of your day, start to move your fingers and your toes. Take a stretch overhead with a hand. And come up to your seat. Sitting comfortably upright, hands in the prayer position in front of you. Thank yourself for coming to your mat. And together, let's breathe in and out. Thank you for your practice. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this practice, please subscribe for more yoga videos and meditations.